Golesh and Bob Weir, sort of happenstance. And it was one of those moments because I went to a lot of Dead shows, so many that I can't remember, literally. Anyway, R.I.P. Phil. All right, let's do this.
Welcome to Facts After Dark, a safe space to get deep and personal as we discuss adult themes.
Sorry. Good morning. Good morning. Good evening, Amy Dawn. How are you?
What time is it? I don't even know, right?
Seriously, I don't know either. Thank you for being here. How are you?
I am wonderful. It's so lovely to see you on this fine Friday. Yes, R.I.P. to the fella.
Indeed.
Yeah, I was wondering how you were feeling about that. Like, aw.
Yeah, I mean, good. Quite the run. For sure.
We've never talked about Grateful Dead, but I just assumed, same brain and all, that you were had some Dead memories. So
I think the number, it's over 80 shows that I've probably been to.
Oh, wow.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot. I know there's people in our community that they would say 80. Psh, that was in one summer.
Yeah, that's one summer for some folks. Absolutely.
So everybody, thank you for being here. Just some programming notes, please. There's a gift and go this evening. Please help us get out to the FYP and stay there. Lots of traffic for Friday night. For those of you who don't normally see us, we usually broadcast Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to noon Eastern time. And then this is our Friday night tradition, Facts After Dark. A variety of topics. Tonight, we're going to kind of get into this whole phenomenon of when does a lie become the truth? You say it over and over and over and over again until people believe it. We're going to unpack misinformation and disinformation a little bit because there's a difference there and we can see it every single day. I mean, there's every single day, literally, we combat this misinformation. In fact, that's one of the reasons that I got onto TikTok. When I started TikToking years ago, it was because I wanted to kind of test out some stand-up comedy. And then I'm like, man, there is a whole bunch of misinformation all over this app. What the hell is going on? I'm like, don't facts matter anymore? And I'm like, oh, facts still matter. That'd be kind of cool. And here we are.
And the rest is future. And
the rest is future, as they say.
Being educated by you and our wonderful team regularly. So
thank you for saying that. So again, there is a gift and go this evening. Please consider subscribing. A couple subscriber benefits. We have a brand new merch store with some really cool items, including the Hey Now Facts After Dark sweatshirt. If you do subscribe and you like the items in the merch store, consider subscribing because they subscriber benefits. You get 10% off any and all items. I do also want to touch on this quickly because, hold on, let me do it this way. Hold on, where is it? We are doing a fundraiser. So there's a member of our community. For those of you who have furry friends, and we all do, then for our furry friends, sometimes we love our pets more than we love our people, which is very, very true. So what we decided to do as an incentive for you, if you're interested in contributing, this is posted there's a brand new section in our Discord. It's called, it is called Special Events. And you'll see this. This is a list of items. We'll do this kind of like a silent auction, if you will. So you'll see there's a variety of items here that are posted, including some Facts merch, items from the Facts merch store. If you're interested in helping support a friend, then there's something in it for you too. So $20 minimum for each of these items. So much like you would do at a silent auction, like, you're walking around the table and you're like, I like that autographed can of soup. You bid on it, and then the highest bid would then win that particular item, right? So all proceeds will go, and the pay-apps are right here, and you'll find that these are for the individual that we're raising money for. And you'll see that in the special events section of our Discord. Again, turn it into something fun. There's some cool stuff on here.
I have my eye on Trump toilet paper.
Yeah, who would not want to wipe their ass with Donald Trump's face? Seriously. Right? And then there's the fire quartz crystals. There's some handmade cookies. There's journals. There's, like I said, multiple chances to get some items from the merch store, Starbucks cups, chocolate chip cookies. So there's good stuff there. And it goes to a really, really good cause. So that's that will be going on. We'll be talking about that throughout the evening. And then one more thing I do want to mention too is that there's the Sunflower Project. You'll see that link that's also in my link tree. Sunflower Project is being spearheaded by a mutual of ours on the app, Tom at Dagger Custom Apparel. And what the Sunflower Project is it's in support of the largest orphanage in Ukraine. The merch is really, really cool. The story is even cooler. I think there's some amazing stuff that you should take advantage of and just take a look at it. And what a great cause. So the money, and Tom and I have been talking about it, and it's everything goes there. He's got to cover his costs, obviously, but this is an opportunity to really contribute in a way that not only gives back, but makes you feel good. And so much money a little money can go a very, very long way in support of this amazing cause. So that's our story tonight. And I'm sticking with it.
Any conflict is the children, and that's to me, that's such an amazing cause. And I'm so glad that we're part of it.
Yeah. So let's kind of jump in this evening. And so the question is, when do lies become the truth? We have a request. So let's go to our request first, and then we can sort of unpack this a little bit. Andrew, how are you tonight?
Good. How are you, Fax?
Doing fine, thanks. What's on your mind as it relates to our topic?
Yeah. I wasn't really necessarily thinking about this question, but I did have a question I wanted to ask you. I'm for Harris, have already voted for Harris.
Excellent.
And I don't know if have you heard of Young Turks?
Yeah.
So I saw this morning they were doing this episode regarding Kamala Harris's town hall. And I feel like they were kind of harsh, but it did make me think of a question. So I believe most people have decided at this point who they're voting for. But for people that are claiming or are undecided, do you think there's anything that Kamala Harris could do differently, could do more of, or could do better to improve her chances with undecided people?
I think what we're seeing is, we talked about this earlier this week, that Black women in America are the most disrespected demographic that there is. So I don't know if there's an undecided voter, they have to ask themselves what it is that they're looking for. Why? I guess the question is, why are they undecided? Because if you are undecided at this point, that means that Donald Trump everything he's done is not a deal breaker for you.
You are avoiding.
That's kind of how I see it.
Don't go to Cheesecake Factory, whatever you do, if you are undecided at this point, because you will never be able to order your food.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean, Andrew? It's like, I mean, I can't see why anybody would be undecided. The only thing I guess would be if there is a Republican who's already decided that they're not going to vote for Trump, would they be willing to cast their vote for Kamala Harris? So I don't know I don't know what else she can do. I mean, don't forget, she's in Texas today, right? And she's going on Fox News, and she's going into enemy territory. She's making her case. She's making her case to say, listen, this election is about everybody, right? This election is about the middle class, and this is how you get a leg up. This is how you get tax breaks. This is how you get incentives to buy a home. This is how you get incentives to start a small business. All these things are great for all Americans, for the overwhelming majority of us, right? Propping up the rights for women, the middle class, the poor, investing in education. I mean, those are the things. At the end of the day, it's got to be important to you.
The people that are undecided at this point, there's probably a lot of different subgroups of that. And there are people who literally do not get into politics. They are like, I don't even know. And so these undecided people, many of them, if they're not paying attention, right, they probably think that this is a usual election where there's some policies on one side and some policies on the other, and maybe they're not sure who's going to be best for what their interests are because they literally have been not paying attention. And I get those of us who stay in these spaces on the regular can't imagine a life without political discourse, but there are people out there who manage to not get involved in it and just keep their head down and do their thing. And to whatever she can do to convince them, she's doing it. At this point, they're just not looking for a reason either way. If you need some reasons, they are both on display I mean, I can't keep up with the cycle of quotes and news and things and rallies and stuff. Like, it's out there for you to digest if you should so choose to come to the table. At this point, you either figure it out or you don't. And I guess you know.
Yeah, I do agree that she has done quite a lot of things since she started her run for election. And
I don't know what to
I've been
say. Yeah.
impressed by the majority of things she's done. One key thing when she started her run, and something that other people, something I saw the Young Turks were focusing on with their criticism this morning, was that the situation in the Middle East. Um, I they were saying that during her town hall, which I watched, one person asked about why should they vote for her when our country is continuing to fund weapons to the Middle
Well,
East with
yeah,
what's going on. And I mean, I could see, like, for especially Americans, if they've got family there and they can continue to see that to happen, being able to,
well, Chad, I mean, sorry, Andrew. Here's the thing, man. This conversation, and I get it, but this is people looking for a reason not to vote for her. That's
Correct.
the bigger issue here, right? Because what has Donald Trump said? I mean, Gaza would be turned into a parking lot. So we've got to be real, right? We've got to be honest and sincere with ourselves. Because if people think all of a sudden that no matter who comes into the White House in January of next year, that our policy towards Israel is suddenly going to change overnight, it's not. It's
Not
it's
to
it's a
mention,
hot button issue. It's not. But we again, this is where I said this the other day, and I think it was Von Jones who said it after the town hall. She has to be flawless while he can be lawless,
yep.
right? So that's the double standard that we've created, and the people on the left. We have to. I mean, I'm not making this accusation, but I can hear a little bit in your voice too. Like, people have got to stop looking for reasons to not vote for her. That's what people are doing.
Here's
That's
what
what
I
people.
do
That's what
know.
people are doing.
Here's what I do know based on what I've seen about Kamala Harris is that whatever it is, if it's going to be better for humanity, she's going to make the decision that's better for humanity overall. And I
Agreed.
tell you, most people aren't sure what the three branches of government are. Do you think the majority of people understand the complexities and nuance and all the incredibly difficult decisions regarding foreign policy, especially foreign policy in that region? It's beyond my scope, and I have ADHD and can rabbit hole any topic at any
Yeah.
given time. So
yeah,
it's rough for me because to Steve's point, like at that point you're just willfully looking for a reason to be contrarian.
Exactly.
yeah, no, I fully believe that she has done an incredible job. I've never seen this kind of excitement, energy, motivation to be involved in knowing what is going on. I've seen quite a lot of people with the whole Ukraine situation. They don't even know what the Budapest Memorandum is or why we're supporting Ukraine. So it
If
just
we
goes
didn't
to
have the
show,
Budapest Memorandum, we should still be supporting Ukraine. That's the whole point, right? If you want to be defending democracy, and
And I don't hear those same people questioning why Elon Musk had all these private phone calls with Putin. Like, wait,
yeah, Mr. Musk is going to be getting an
same
indictment,
energy,
getting
same
a knock on
energy.
the door soon. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, I guess again, Andrew, I think the reminder that we have to tell people is what 11 days out now from history, is that we will look back on this election, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit. Might as well do it now, about how there's still a massive gap between people who look like me that are voting for Donald Trump. We're starting to see a lot of voter early voting trends. We're seeing that Gen Z is heavily trending 60 over 60% of Gen Z voters voting for supporting Kamala Harris, and it's split amongst men. So that means that she's winning the Gen Z vote overwhelmingly so, but it's still split among men. And if you broke that down even further, that would be white men. So there's a draw, right? And we have to be very mindful of this. We've got to stop creating this equivalency. Like when people say it's and I'm not making this accusation of you, Andrew, but again, this is where our topic tonight comes into play. People are looking for things based on misinformation. Misinformation basically is like, you may not be sure of something. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Misinformation would be like, illegals don't pay taxes. Now that might be somebody who read something somewhere and they may not have all the details. They'll get a pass. Actually, I've got a good slide for that. They'll get a pass. Yeah. So here you go. So you think it's true, but it's not, right? Disinformation is it's not true, but you say it anyway. And
it's that disinformation that speaks to the psyop of it all.
Exactly. So that's where we fall into this trap where no matter what Donald Trump does, it's the left that is creating this, telling his followers that he's the innocent one. He's the victim in all this. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris is just out there, standing up for fucking human rights. And we have to, again, this is where sexism and misogyny and misogynoir in particular come in. So I would say that if you're in these spaces, just remind people of that. Say, stop looking for reasons not to vote for her. Stop. And just look at the reality of the circumstance. As a progressive, I'm tired of status quo Democrats, but I understand the future. I want to get there. I want my daughter's rights protected. I want the next generation of politicians. And I believe Kamala Harris because I believe she's got a huge heart, compassion, empathy, understanding, smart as hell, will get shit done. Tough as hell, will get shit done. And that's the bridge that I want. So, but thanks for coming up tonight, Andrew. I appreciate you.
Yeah, the only thing I am trying to get in touch more with is I feel like there's not enough people, and I still need to work on this, is just being critically analytical of the people that lead us, because it's just
exactly.
We've all got our flaws, and we have to understand where the shortcomings are, especially with our leaders, just so we understand who they are. But thank you for your time. You guys are great.
You got it. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Yeah, these false equivalencies, they just don't work. It's just crazy. This leads right into this topic. It's so interesting. Chad, you said you had a question for us. Good evening. How are you?
So I'm doing well. Yourself?
Fine. Thanks for asking. What's up?
Yep. So as you may know, that I'm voting for Harrison. Yep. And what I don't understand is why is Elon giving so much money to Trump? Can he just write it off as a tax write-off? Like,
well, when you're the richest person in America and you donate $25 or $30 million, that would be like you and I dropping a penny in a gumball machine.
Yeah, but
Trump to win because Trump is the guy that he needs in office to keep letting him be rich.
Yeah, no. But
it's just a campaign expense for Elon.
Yeah. So that's why, because he can write that off on his taxes, can he? And even though he doesn't do taxes, right?
$1 million to him is like dropping a $5 on the ground for us.
Yeah.
I mean, and don't forget, there's been talk about, and I think this is right. The mods will fact check me. I think Donald Trump has floated the idea of Elon becoming sort of like a cabinet position. Secretary of efficiency in government. I'm like, give me a friggin' break.
Yeah, and that's, and can't we, like, isn't there something against the law? We're buying people's votes.
Yeah, exactly. That's serious election interference. And so this is the problem. See, this is exactly why we're talking about this tonight, because there's a new standard in the body politic now, where you can just tell lies and people will accept it as the truth. The fact that we are even talking 11 days away from the election, that this election is going to be close, is absolutely disgusting. We should be embarrassed as a nation.
Yeah,
we should be embarrassed. And that's not the people on the left that are defending democracy. And I'll talk about our election day coverage in just a second. But that's the whole point here. Stop believing the nonsense. Stop giving them oxygen. Don't tolerate it anymore. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done. Don't go to spaces where people are just spewing their bullshit and their nonsense. Let them do that in their own spaces.
Yeah,
you want to learn something? Go to places where you can learn something. We pride ourselves on that around here. Try to pay attention. Try to learn.
Yeah, and I agree with you in everything that you stand for, and I support whatever you think, yeah. So again, thank you.
Sure, Chad. Thanks a
Have a
lot.
great night.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
You got it. So I found this. I know we're going to unpack the psyop piece, but I just want to give some people some reminders as to some examples of misinformation. And I think it's really important that we kind of talk about that because, again, one of the reasons that I got onto this app was because of all this stuff. I'm like, Jesus, I mean, I've worked in politics. I mean, the work that I do requires me to be absolutely factually accurate, and I'm listening to people just spread nonsense about. I'm like, how can we even be talking about this kind of shit? So again, misinformation, bad information that you thought was true. Disinformation, bad information that you knew wasn't true. That's what got Fox News into trouble. So Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, all those people knew Donald Trump lost the election.
You did it anyway.
Yeah, they knew it. They knew he lost. Trump knows he lost the election. J.D. Vance knows he lost the election. Mike Johnson knows he lost the election. That's disinformation. That's by design. Russian propaganda is disinformation.
Yep.
Those are examples, and that's what we see. So we see, again, these people that are paid, these paid operatives, the Tim Pools, the Jordan Petersons of the world, right? Those people. Tucker Carlson, we know that he's been getting money from the RT, right?
Thinking too. Oh God, everything.
Yeah, so that's disinformation, and that's what's working. So I don't know. There's a creator on this app. His name is Tommy. My dude, Doode.
I love Tommy.
Yeah, he did this video recently, and I've been saying this for a long time about how you see a shift. You see a shift in our opposition, right? Before it was like scream, yell. The bot farms behind them trying to sow dissent, but it wasn't working like that because people were just done with it. Now they're going after moderates by saying, well, I used to be a Democrat, and now I'm just really feeling like the Democratic Party is lost. And you're starting to hear these consistencies, like the Democrat Party really supports the warmongering effort. Just follow the scripts. I mean, I know many of you don't spend as much time in these spaces as we do, but these are the trends that I start to pick up on. Again, it's Russian propaganda. Amy Dunn and I joke about it because you can literally see it. Like they're going through the fucking checklist. This is propaganda. This is propaganda. This is propaganda. And that's what happens when you're susceptible.
When I watched Tommy's video, the first thing that came to mind was like, oh, they're taking a page out of the Olivia Pope playbook, because if you don't like the conversation, you change the conversation. So we're going to make a different conversation now that's equally emotionally effective in the psyop.
Here's a couple of examples, right? Some small rudimentary examples of misinformation. Hearing something about a neighbor and telling the other neighbors without verifying the information. Reposting a negative campaign ad about a political candidate without checking if it's true, right? You're spreading misinformation, okay? Again, you don't know it's true. You just don't confirm whether it's true or not. Telling a teacher that a classmate cheated on a test because you heard people talking about it in the hallway. Hearsay, spreading misinformation. Reading about an unproven cure to disease and telling your friends about it. Funny. Hydrochloroquine, ivermectin, anyone? Spreading gossip about a friend that sounds like it could be true, but it isn't. If you tell someone to cancel their party because you think it will rain, but then it doesn't rain, that's misinformation. If you tell someone to cancel their party because it's going to rain, even though you know it's not going to rain, that's disinformation.
Yes. Kind of like the thing that's illegal to do in the court of law, because if you talk mess about somebody and you know it's not true, but it's pejorative towards them, you might have to pay a fine or two.
Exactly. I mean, it's the blatant lies. Again, it's the blatant lies from the right that have been told over and over and over and over and over again. So of course their followers are going to believe it. Hey, Paul, how are you?
Hi, Paul. What's up, man? It's been a while. How you been?
I'm doing good. Happy Friday.
Me too, man.
What's going on?
Hey, tagging on to what you're saying, one of the things that I was, maybe you probably agree, I am so disappointed in the way that CNN has handled Donald Trump. And I don't know if you saw this, but Charlemagne the God was on there, and he was ripping into Anderson Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, what is with you guys? Like, they've normalized Donald Trump. I had lunch with a guy that he was clearly a MAGA. I mean, he was the demographic. And he started talking about politics. I'm like, my dude, I'm not talking about it. And he kept talking and talking. And I wasn't even looking at him. And he's like, yeah, man, the choice is clear, man. Gas prices. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of funny how nothing out of your mouth has to do with the 240 instances of gun violence in our schools. And he kind of looked at me and he shut up and he quit talking to me. And I was like, yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how, like, just take a step back. And I know he's been doing this for years. This man was found liable for sexually assaulting a woman.
Yep.
Just think about that. And we're upset because the price of gas is too expensive.
Correct.
If that was their mom, their aunt, their grandma, their daughter, their granddaughter, they would be livid. But because it happened to somebody else, they don't give a crap.
I'm not so sure about that though, Paul. We've had plenty of people in our space saying that they would say they wouldn't believe their kid if it happened to them.
Yeah.
That's so disgusting. I mean, that's awful.
Exactly.
I don't think the media knows how to cover him. I think they still haven't
I do.
figured it out exactly.
I do.
Because
Dollar bills.
well, here's the thing though, like there are responsible journalists out there. I do believe there are some that really are struggling with how to hold him accountable and sound the alarm in a way that doesn't sound like, oh, hyperbole. I mean, I think they're covering him in a political space and it's not political anymore. These topics that we're talking about really aren't, like, if you're on the other side of some of the things that we're fighting for, like that's not a political thing, that's a human rights thing, as we talk about much. So yeah,
Right.
I think it's been a definite, believe me, I'm the number one critic about even my beloved Lawrence O'Donnell sometimes doesn't ask questions I wish he would ask.
Right.
But hey, we just have to have
going into your space, AD. It's the amygdala response. I mean, they want their viewers. I mean, because politics by and large should be fucking boring. It should be boring. And Trump is not boring, and covering his not boring. Again, so I've been talking pretty consistently about the fake electors plot since it happened, but it doesn't get the coverage like it should, because that is the most important element of the entire thing. That is the subversion of democracy. January 6th is because it's violent and because it's visual. That's the draw. That's the draw. We don't cover that enough, and shame on the media.
How do you cover somebody where literally everything he says is the next unprecedented thing, that if anyone, one single thing that Howard Dean got, fired because of a laugh, a weird
Tell me about
laugh. I mean, just any one of those things in any other political era would have been no way. So
Exactly.
How do you cover a guy that literally faster than the news cycle can cycle? And that's saying a lot these days. Is the newest thing. Like, I think somebody just put out the last Truth Social tweet that he did was doubling down on this fraud election, and everybody who, when I win office, everybody, apparently people like us, Steve, we're going to be rounded up. But he doubled down on it just today. I believe he had a post on Truth Social about it.
And I think when the media goes into this narrative of like, oh, let's look at their policies, like, I don't give a shit about his policies. I don't care. I don't care if gas is $50 a gallon. I don't. I care about how he treats people, how he talks about people, who he's going to deport. And I think that's the problem is, if I had to pick one thing, and I feel like Kamala's done a really good job of being a fighter. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Harris, VP Harris.
Good call.
Is she has the one thing that Joe Biden didn't do? She's out there fighting, taking the fight to him, punching him in the face. She's put him on the ropes and he doesn't know what to do.
And to be fair, pronunciation wise, Trump willfully mispronounces her name in every time he opens his mouth. So it's fair that people still haven't figured it. Like, it's just a memory thing. So
I just did it by accident.
No,
I have her on my hat, on my shirt, on my bumper sticker. I don't know why I even did that.
No, it's okay. You're okay.
Paul,
There's
because
people
we
who
hear
do
it
it
from
on
them.
purpose.
That's the point, right?
Yeah.
We hear it. I get it.
There's people who do it on purpose. We know you're not one of them. It's okay.
And the last thing I'll say is, out of everything that I've heard, I listen to a lot of people. And if you want to listen to someone that's really middle of the road, you ever listen to Brian Shapiro in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
He's on every day. He's a very middle of the road. And the one thing I hear from a lot of people, and I think this is a big thing, it's this misogyny. It's this, and it really irritates me because the women this guy's a convicted felon, Steve. He's a sexual assaulter, stole top secret, stole from charities. Oh, I don't like her laugh. Oh, the CNN tell Hall. oh, I'm a Democrat, but I really need to hear more from her. What's your position on fracking? I don't know. I just don't know if I can get there. I don't know. This guy's a felon. I don't know, but
she's
her laugh,
changed
I
her
don't know.
opinion on she's
Oh my
changed her
God,
opinion on
forbid.
fracking versus
Ugh.
versus have you seen Arnold Palmer's dick?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
let's
so
be fucking real.
disgusting.
Understand a big part of it too is we have been bit by bit dismantling the patriarchy, right?
Yes.
Like that's a thing that's happening. We are literally living through an era where that's happening. We can see it generationally,
Yeah.
right?
And that's almost all my
what
videos are about that.
happens in every system when it gets dismantled, the apex of that system is going to have a death rattle, and you are seeing the death rattle of the apex who is the white male in our society. And there are certain palm-colored men who really enjoyed their privilege a lot, and they are very fearful of what a world looks like without having that privilege that they've gotten so blissfully used to. And that's the folks who there's not much that can reach them unless they go get therapy. Somebody like me can help them deconstruct that.
But I think that conversation is the same conversation with equality, right? Like the black people, when they were, treated the way they were treated, nobody stood up for them. Right? Nobody that looked like me and you, Steve, stood up for them. And it's the same thing.
Paul, we created the system.
Yeah.
We created
it. It has to come from us. I mean, and women are probably going to save this country. And a black woman's going to save it as a president. I believe that. I know.
Again.
But for God's sakes, guys, stand up and stop being little pansies. Because, I mean, we want the woman to raise our kids, to take care of us when we're sick, to go grocery shopping, to work a full-time job. But yeah, they're too emotional. But yet 99% of the gun violence in this country are what demographic, Steve?
Well, here's the thing, man. The last group holding out to vote Republican are people who look like you and I.
Oh, God almighty.
Cis white hetero in particular, cis white hetero men in America are the ones that are holding us back from progress. Ironically enough, though, we're the ones that created the system. We were the slave owners. We're the ones that developed capitalism. We're the ones that developed the systems. We're the ones that complain the loudest about immigration because of the whole Great Replacement theory, that bullshit fucking nonsense, because people who look like me, don't want to lose our place of superiority within the white supremacy system. Period. That's the whole fucking story right there.
Yep.
And if you
Everybody
wonder why,
we can all go home now. I just solved the problem.
You did. and the one thing you hear about a lot, and I've been hearing this from people here and there, from girls that were dating people, and it's the same thing with abortion. I don't think it's even about being pro-life. I really don't. I think what it is they want more white babies to keep the majority in this country. I mean, I wish they would just come out and say that's what it's really about. It has nothing to do with life.
Yeah, well, so keep this in mind. Thank you, Nana. Yummy. We lose 20,000 people a day in our country, but we're only birthing 10,000 people a day. So we need immigration. We have to have immigration.
Right.
And when we ask this question, again, as we get closer to the election, I ask this question every single day when somebody comes up who's obviously in the camp of Trump, meaning they like fascist, rapist criminals. Ask them the question. Make them answer, how does mass deportation work? Make them answer that question. If you are going into right-wing spaces, I don't recommend it for your health. I'll do it for you so you don't have to.
Don't.
You're welcome. The reality of the circumstance is they can't answer the question because they know if they do, it'll show how fucking racist they are. So you're driving down Main Street and you see a bunch of brown-skinned people. What's going to happen? You're going to walk out and show me your papers, please. Seriously, they can't explain it. They know that's exactly what it would take. They don't want to answer it because they've been lied to. They've been lied to. They've been lied to about crime. They've been lied to about contributions to our society. They've been lied to about the immigration process. So in their minds, it's the truth. That's the danger.
You had somebody, I forget which live it was in earlier this week, that literally said, well, that's what I would have to do.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And more, and you know where that comes from? And I thought a lot of it, because you know how I feel about Christian nationalism. The evangelical church, I just love it because it makes me so mad. They believe anything their pastor tells them to do. Like, you can't tell them anything to challenge God, right? They believe it with all their hearts, and that's great, but they can't prove that he exists. So for them, hey, give me 10%, give me 10%. They don't care if the Catholic Church has been fined $1.5 billion for assault. Whatever, go to church and give it to God. They're not going to speak out. They're going to keep showing up, putting their kids against the priests.
Of course not. Exactly, Paul. So it's people that, again, your people in your community are the ones that are the predators, right? I mean, this is the
Right.
reality of this circumstance that people just don't. I mean, again, it's a lot of people have requested, brother. I appreciate you being here as
Yep.
always.
All right, bud.
It's always good to talk to you. Be safe out there, okay?
Later.
See you later. I want to bring.
Did you see Ben was here?
Yeah, I wanted to bring. I'll bring Ben up in just a second. I want to bring Trisha up because Trisha had requested, and then I'll jump to Ben. I see Eric in there too. I'll try to get everybody tonight. Everybody tap and share. I'll give you an update on our fundraiser in just a moment. Hi, Trisha. How are you tonight?
Hi, how are y'all?
Doing fine, thank you. What's on your mind tonight?
Oh, my goodness. I voted North Carolina Wednesday, blue all the way down the ballot.
Thank you.
This is scaring me. This is scaring me, y'all. I'm 63 years old. I've got 2 daughters and a 22-year-old granddaughter, and this is scaring me, y'all.
Sure.
It's scaring me. How do I get the jitters out of my damn body?
Well, I can. So there's a story out of North Carolina that I heard today that in Western North Carolina, because of the damage due to the hurricane, and yes, FEMA has been on the ground, and yes, federal monies are flowing, and yes, FEMA is there to help you, and yes, you've been believing another lie.
Well, I'm sure.
sequitur.
So that's not me, but I don't think they're even going to be able to vote, will they?
Well, no, this is the point. So there's a Texas representative from Congress in North Carolina who wants to just give North Carolina give Trump the North Carolina electoral votes because people that have been disenfranchised because of the flooding in Western North Carolina. So think about that scenario. You have someone literally saying, you know what? Don't really care what the people say. Well, because we as Christian nationalists, we think we know best for all of the residents of North Carolina. So as a resident of North Carolina, Tricia, you made a vote for Kamala Harris. You would like to see everybody in your state vote and accept the results there are. This is another example of people on the right who cannot win an election unless they cheat. And yet they have been told it's the left that cheats. Every single day we see it.
I've seen that. That's awful.
Every day we see it every single day, Tricia. So my advice to you is do exactly what you did. Vote. Next week we're actually going to talk about this. We're going to say who are you voting for, not your candidate, but who. Who is the person you're casting a ballot for? I'm voting for my daughter. I'm voting for my sons. I'm voting for Ben's family, for your family, for Amy Dawn's family, for marginalized communities everywhere. I'm voting for the poor people. I'm voting for public educators. I'm voting for teachers. I mean, my list is long. I'm going to have to narrow it down. But that's what we need to do. Keep that in mind because there's more of us than there are of them. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Can I ask you, though, what did you say about Western North Carolina, though, if they don't have boxes to vote at?
Well, I'm sure there is a contingency plan. I believe that they will people who want to vote will.
I mean,
people who want to vote.
How do they vote if they don't even have an ID? I mean,
well, again, the system is there to, it's got redundancies, and I'm sure it's on people's mind, no doubt about. Because again, and keep this in mind. So Marjorie Taylor Greene likes to think that the Democrats control the weather. If we could, she would not have a house anymore. So it's things like that. So and again, Tricia, just keep your head down.
What did you say about Marjorie?
Yeah.
Let me just add so you feel better too. I hear the worry in your voice. There is a person who goes across the country and they're part of the overseeing the Federal Election Commission, and they go and their job is to ensure the security of the elections. There are people in place assuring that we have a fair election, that everyone's vote is counted, even the people voting for the other folks. It's correct. The integrity of our election process will hold. You have to believe that. Don't believe the scare tactics.
And how can that happen in North Carolina when they don't even have a home or ID?
There's coordination. Right, they'll figure it out.
This is what we're talking about. Again,
that's just what I'm scared. I'm so scared, y'all. I am.
I understand. And I think it's okay. It's okay. They will find a way to get done.
The last thing on their mind is to vote.
Believe in us. People will rally. People will make sure people care enough about this. They'll get their neighbors. That we figure it out. We're good at building community in this country. We do it on this app all the time with people
Have
we
y'all
didn't.
been there though? Have you been to North Carolina?
I don't need to be to believe in our
Yeah.
citizens.
No,
Exactly.
but if they don't even have like a chair to sit on, much
I know.
less a
Well, like I said,
job.
Trisha, no, I understand, and it's horrible circumstances. But at the end of
That's
the day,
just what I'm scared of. I'm sorry.
it's okay. I mean, it's okay. Like I said, if people want to vote, if it's that important to them, they will figure it out.
Well, if they can't,
Well, that if they can't, they can't. But again, let's not look past the fact that there's a desire for people to want to participate in democracy, and we've seen people around the world literally put their lives on the line to secure the right to vote. So
absolutely. I'm sorry that I even brought this
It's okay.
up.
It's okay. It's their valid feelings. Let's just be careful that we don't go too far down that road.
Maybe this will help a little bit, Trisha. You can request provisional ballots, and they just match your signatures later, right? Yep. So that's what they can do. Even if they don't have their ID or anything, they can request those provisional ballots, which they have people set up to help with that there right now.
Okay, well, I'll give that to them then, that information.
So,
yeah.
Thank you so much.
You got it, Trisha. Thank you very much for being here tonight. You have a good night. See you later.
Thank y'all.
Thanks for coming up.
Professor?
Hello.
I'm so glad
ProPublica story.
Man, talk about lies and believing the truth. I read that twice. The part that got me the most, Ben, was the credit card information. That specific piece was the part that really got me the most.
As a former LifeLock employee, my gob was smacked at that. I was like, what?
So why don't you give people an update? Why don't you give people a little summary as to what we're talking about? All right, Kevin, why don't you go for it?
All right, so back when the first attempt was made on Trump's life, there was a local news station that posted this statement that the reason they were able to identify the person so quickly was because the Trump campaign had a database of all gun owners in the United States. Now, no one else corroborated that. I had made a video talking about it. No one else corroborated. I took the video down. Yesterday, ProPublica, which is one of the most unbiased news sources that exists, released an expose that they totally vetted and sourced that says, yes, that database has existed since the early 90s. And they basically have 10 million or more gun owners in America on that database. So what they did was, in 1989, there was a mass shooting in California. It worried the gun manufacturers. They thought that people would be reasonable and would want to push for laws that would stop those events from happening. And they became worried because a lot of people even then did not like the NRA. Most people don't like the NRA, and they weren't members. And they're like, how do we reach those people? So they started compiling a database in the 90s that they took like warranty cards that people filled out to register their guns with the gun company. All the gun companies turned this information over: Winchester, Glock, Springfield, Mossberg, all of them. And they entered all that into a database. Then they took those people's names and addresses and things and got their like credit history, their consumer history, right? Like they tracked their credit card numbers, right? So not only did they have things like their name and their age and their address, they got their political affiliation, their religious beliefs, their wife's bra size. That one's the one that blew my mind.
Exactly.
The size of your underwear. See, they have your underwear size in this database.
So in the late 1990s, the gun industry launched a secret project to elect firearm-friendly politicians. Manufacturers gave political operatives sensitive, intimate information on their customers without their consent. The story behind the data sharing and its impact has never been revealed until now. It's a ProPublica article. We'll post it. It's already in our Discord. Again, so this feeds right into this topic this evening. Ironically enough, it's been because Ben and I joke, we talked about this. I mean, this literally is the deep state. I mean, it's the invasion of privacy. This goes back to Roe. So if you think about the conversations of because Roe was protections of privacy, not abortion, and this is a complete and utter violation because the safeguard of overturning Roe means that your privacy is now, you might as well just spread eagle for the world to see.
Yep. And this is what we said, right? Like, for years, how many times have we heard these pro-gun people, even the NRA, who had this data? This was given to the NRA, right? And Cambridge Analytica, that was another group we gave this data to, right? How many times did the NRA say registration is the first step to confiscation?
Yep.
And they actually created the gun registry.
Yep.
They did it. So it goes back to what I was saying and what we've always said, that, any accusation is a confession. And if I was a Republican right now hearing this story, and I would start thinking about all the things that my party is saying Democrats are doing, and I would start researching how long they've been doing that exact thing to me right now.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That is, and again, it feeds right into what we're talking about the enemy from within, right? The enemy from within is their own party. It's people that are manipulating the electorate based on these lies. We'll trick our base because they're too stupid to know better. We'll blame it on the left. We'll say that Kamala Harris is coming for your firearms, Barack Obama is, Joe Biden is, Bill Clinton is, and literally it's the right. It's literally the right getting all this sensitive information on their consumers, credit card information, your bra size, what's in your drawer, the whole 9 yards based on privacy.
Everything.
It's
everything.
This is huge. This is huge.
And not to play conspiratorial or anything, but how could this be misused? Right? How could this be misused? We already have a candidate, right? We have a candidate who said, I want to round up my enemies. He could go through and see all of the Democrats with firearms and round them up. But what's to stop somebody later from doing that to the conservatives on that list?
Correct.
Right? This is not, like, it would be one thing if this was a law, right? Like, because I'm not opposed to a registry per se, but I want it monitored and controlled as to what information they can get. Yeah, Rusty, I'll text it to you after I drop.
Rusty, it's in the Discord. Inside joke.
This is kind of scary because there's no oversight over this, right? Like,
none.
They literally turned this over to Cambridge Analytica. Literally just gave it to them, right?
And they have a great track record.
Yeah, right? Because they were selling stuff to Russia. They were doing social experiments on us on Facebook.
Yep.
Right? They gave that information to them. That means they gave your credit card information. They gave all of your personal buying history because they had, and other companies have done this. This is not to say this is new, right? Like Target got in trouble back in 2015 because they had an algorithm that could tell if a woman's pregnant. They sent a flyer of all baby stuff to a 15-year-old girl, and the parents blew up. And then it turned out that the girl was pregnant, and they had to apologize to Target. But Target now, when they do that, they send it mixed in with a regular ad, just more baby stuff mixed into a regular ad. And they are like 98% accurate with that algorithm, and they base it on your purchase history. And that's what they're doing with this data. They're taking it and figuring out who you are to learn everything about you. For what purpose?
There's PSYOP. That's how.
PSYOP. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. More distractions. Again, it's the wolf in sheep's clothing. I mean, they
literally have a database for their base. Like, this is our target audience. Again, one of the 7 steps of a PSYOP is you're figuring out what your target is.
Yeah.
Now.
And that's what they wanted to do to begin with, right? They wanted to get to gun owners that they could convert into conservatism by using a boogeyman specter that Democrats are going to take your guns, right? That because these people at one time were more rational, did not want to be part of the NRA because they thought they were a fringe, crazy, extremist group, right? And they didn't want to be a part of it. So they created this database so they could reach those people and slowly pull them into that conspiracy theory nonsense that the NRA pushes.
There's more to come on this story, I'm sure. Thanks for bringing it to my attention, Ben. I appreciate you, man, as always. You know that.
Yep. I'll drop back down. I'm still this is just wild. And I read it probably 5 or 6 times. It's long. Just so everybody knows, it's a very long article.
Yeah, it should be about half an hour.
Yeah,
worth the read, though.
It's worth it.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very well sourced. They do not. When they released this, they made sure they had every T crossed and every I dotted. They did not want anyone to be able to be like.
I love that kind of journalism. That's the kind of journalism we need.
So, Law,
Yeah.
I saw your request when we were talking about this. Have you looked in? First of all, good evening.
Hi,
Welcome.
Law.
Did you have something you wanted to talk about in regards to this?
Yeah, so maybe to make you guys even a little bit more scared and paranoid. When I worked in
Great.
politics, I could, from numerous data brokers, I could buy this data about supposed gun owners because you're targeting them with certain messages, or you're trying to exclude them from certain messages in a political campaign. Because of device IDs right now, so your Apple and your Android has a device ID. They know what you're shopping for, where you're shopping for it, when you're shopping for it. I could literally go and buy through a geolocation. I could go and say, I want all of the device IDs that were at this Trump rally at this date and this time, and I could go and they would give me all of those device IDs, and then I could go into my back end and tag them all as Trump supporters. And then I could cross-reference that with any other data that I wanted if I was trying to target Trump supporters or exclude them. But if the same thing, if it was a Biden rally, I could go through and do a Biden rally, and then because of the way that your device ID is connected to your purchase history and everything, I could say, hey, I want all of the Biden supporters that were here that have kids in school, and then we could target them with a specific email targeting like an education initiative in order to try to get them to donate or join the campaign.
Just some breaking news. So, Israel says it's conducting strikes on military targets in Iran. Israel's military is conducting precise strikes on military targets in Iran. It said in a statement earlier on Saturday morning local time after reports emerged of explosions heard in Tehran. The IDF said that strikes are a response to Iran, which has been relentlessly attacking Israel since October 7th on 7 fronts, including direct attacks from Iranian soil. Like every other sovereign country in the world, the state of Israel has the right and the duty to respond. The IDF also warned that its defensive and offensive capabilities are fully mobilized. We'll track that over the course of the evening.
Of course, there's more going on with Israel.
I was wondering if you saw that. I was going to mention. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I think that this story is just, it's probably not going to get the coverage that it deserves. We are grateful that we have Professor Ben Dowd-Arrow, who was like lights up, like, this is like Christmas. In a bad way.
It was when I got the phone calls and the text messages and everything. Like well, 10 people. It was Nikki that I saw first.
Yeah, Nikki put it in our news chat.
But I got like 10 phone calls and things. Like I was in Matt's live when it broke, and I was like, my phone was blowing up. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna be right back. And I just like closed out the app and went to read, and I saw that, and I came back in. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, just in summary. So what this is, folks, if you're just joining in, it's gun manufacturers from the 1990s, going back to the 1990s, have been tracking through warranty cards submitted by people purchasing guns. So not the NRA, but the information ended up working its way to is it NSFF as well?
Yes.
Is that? I think that's the other group.
Sports
right?
Shooting Foundation.
NSFF, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, they've been tracking your all kinds of information, and then that included credit card information. So they're getting a lot of personal and private information about individuals who ended up on this gun registry, who people initially did not want to be on a registry, which is one of the reasons that a lot of people didn't want to join the NRA. So here we are, millions of gun owners in our country. I'm sure I'm on that registry too as an owner.
I'm on there. I know I am because I bought one during the pandemic.
Absolutely.
Right?
So there you go.
Yep. But they also get you if you subscribe to Guns and Ammo magazine or anything like that. All of that gets you in and tagged as a potential gun owner in these databases.
Data is big business. Data can earn you a lot of money.
Sure and Law, let me ask you, because you said you've kind of like dealt with this. Like, so the original story that I saw back, when the first attempt was made on Trump, basically said that they take all that data and then they have a column in that spreadsheet where it's like how likely you still are a gun owner based on all of the other data that they've collected. And so they had marked that kid and his family as being very likely, highly likely. Is that kind of how it is? They take it and then they have that column to go and look at if they're still a gun owner or not.
So I think when I would purchase the data, I would just like look for columns like are a likely gun owner. So I know that column exists. I haven't seen it because you can go back and you can set time windows, I want people who match this criteria as of this date. It's incredible the amount of data that you can get
I'm
on
sure
people. So
there are assessments on human behavior that they use to plot out all that stuff. I mean, just from my field of work, like
yeah,
Gotta get
and my best guess would
prescription
be that
data.
they in order to tag them like that, they're probably looking at like a recent purchase or a recent registration or a recent um, like magazine subscription. Maybe if if their geolocation tagged them at.
Oop, we lost you.
Lost you a little bit there, Law.
You keep
You're
cutting out, bro.
breaking up, Law.
I'll just drop you. If you need to come back, you can. Again, this is a story that we're going to continue to track. I mean, I think it feeds right into what we're talking about psyops and about misinformation and disinformation and about lies and when they become the truth. It's all related. I mean, this is the world we live in now.
Yeah.
Again, it's the people that are susceptible that believe it's been the left been coming after them, trying to get their information when it's literally happening in front of them, right in front of them.
I
It is
agree.
always
I
it
could
is always
listen
the
to
right.
law all day.
It's always the right.
It's
Thanks,
always the right.
Professor.
Ronald Reagan was the most prolific president for gun control in our history, right?
Correct.
Like it's always the right. Law, if you're still listening, if you're still there, hit me back. I want to talk to you a little bit more about this. Maybe even have you come on the Cold Dead Hands at some point to talk about it if you're willing. But I'm going to drop,
Thank you, buddy.
and I will. I'll be listening in.
Okay, love you, man. See you later.
Love you, brother. Love you all.
All right. So I want to just that's a huge story. I just want to. It's incredibly important. Again, for those of you who don't know, it's a story in ProPublica. It's posted in our Discord. It's a long read, but it's worth it. This is the kind. I mean, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, even if you're not, even if guns and the whole stuff don't interest you, I think you need to read this story.
And you don't even have to read it because there's a little button you can push and they'll read it for you on the article.
That's a good point.
Is lovely like that.
That's a good point. Although men on the right aren't very good at pushing the button, but that's a different story.
We'll talk about those buttons.
I couldn't resist.
Hey,
Okay. Now.
Hey,
So just real quick, I want to just bring this back up. So just a little break from what we're doing this evening. We are doing a fundraiser for a member of our community that had some unexpected and significantly large expenses related to care of their furry creatures and our furry friends, because those of you who have them know how important they are in your life. So if you pay apps, if you'll find this, if you're in our Discord, there's a special section. What's the name of that section again? I keep forgetting. Special events. No. What is it?
Special event? Or is it?
Special.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll find it.
Nikki would
Special
know.
events.
Only Nikki could tell me.
She can. It's the special events. I was right. So it's in the special events section in our Discord. You'll see this list. So the idea behind this, if you ever participated in a silent auction before, you can bid on these items. It starts at a minimum of $20, and basically the person who at the end of the week, so we're going to run this through till next Friday, the person will update at the end of every live, each category. The person who donates the most in that particular category will win that particular item. We'll try to keep you updated, so we'll remind people at the end of every live as to the status. So there's some cool stuff on here, donated by the people that are in our community that want to try to help out. You want some Facts merch? Here's a way to get it.
Y'all better leave that Trump toilet paper alone. That's mine.
Trump toilet paper. Just think about that, right? Just think about that. A dozen strawberry cream cookies, paint oil, fire quartz. There's some cool stuff here. And again, big picture, we're trying to help a member of our community. Even if you don't want anything on the list, you want to donate, the pay apps are here, their Venmo, their Cash App. Again, all this information exists in our Discord, in our special events channel. So
let me tell you, we have an amazing community, and our team works so hard to keep us together. And yeah, we just we're so grateful that y'all are around to support us.
Hello, Miss Erica. How are you?
Hi, beautiful.
I'm tired, but can I offer something to go in the silent auction?
Yes.
Certainly.
I would like to offer that I will record myself reading a chapter of a book of your choice within reason.
Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Nothing. Yeah, I'll do Lady Chatterley's Lover. That's fine. Just nothing nothing actually pornographic.
You could read me a recipe.
You could bring me the dictionary and I would go to sleep.
What, like a whip the cream, that
Yes.
kind of
Say
recipe?
Colin's
Okay,
name slowly.
Moistly.
Colin. Oh, I'll do 50 Shades of Grey. That's fine. Just not like, you know. So can you please put that on the list as well? People might not want it, but you know.
I think that's going to be the most coveted thing.
Could be. Maybe it's even like a voicemail recording or something like that. But we can. How about Erica's audio expertise specifics TBD?
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Okay.
fine.
So I think we can add that, friends. We'll pop that in there. That'll be item 13 or whatever, or wherever we're at. But that's something we will certainly do. I think it's cool.
Gregory, I would absolutely do a campaign commercial.
Aw, that would be amazing.
It would be amazing. And
I
then
would love that.
In,
Oh
in
my
fact,
God.
I'll do that for free.
And you know how you could close it? You could say, "I'm not condescending.
Let
I'm
the
only
Lincoln
British."
Project
I'm just
know, Greg.
British, yeah. Someone called me pompous yesterday, by the way.
Uh-oh.
And
was
today
that?
I was called arrogant in Law of the Wild's comment section
Oh,
for just saying that's not the case they're talking about.
Well,
yeah, that's good. Well, we love
everybody's
Americans,
busy being
Erica.
somebody these days, so you know.
So again,
And
it would be Erica's audio expertise specifics TBD, and we can work on that, and then we'll add that to our list. I think the mods are on it. Everybody's excited.
yeah, so add it to the list. I am going to bed, but I am off work for a whole freaking week.
Yes, and just some breaking news. Erica will be riding shotgun with us on our Monday and Tuesday morning lives next week. So
I didn't even know that. I'm so excited. You're worth getting up for.
there you go.
Well,
Not that you weren't
Steve,
already.
however, meh.
I mean, I'm used
I'm
to
already
getting
up.
up for him. Like I've been getting up for him, but now I'm especially more excited.
Guys,
Well.
Steve is already up. Make of that what you will. Make
Hey
of
now.
that what you will.
Rigid.
Hey
Rigid.
now.
Rigid.
That's true. I do need to get to
Malleable?
Atlanta next week, don't
Malleable.
I? I forgot about that.
Malleable.
Thank you very much for being here, my dear. We appreciate
Anyway.
you very much.
Buzz and I are gonna foxtrot Oscar up to bed. But we love you all, and I'm listening, so don't say anything bad about me, okay?
Promise. We love you too. Sleep well.
Love you more.
Yeah. Night night.
Bye. Bye. That's cool. We'll add some audio expertise.
What
to the
a
conversation.
lovely donation to the cause. That is epic.
All right. So we'll continue to update you guys on our fundraiser as we go through the evening. Please consider contributing to the gifting goal. Let's get to 100K, friends. There's 460 people in here. Big Hoss, how are you tonight?
You almost shot yourself with it.
With what?
Broken.
What's broken?
Stick your head out.
I think he might be talking to someone else.
Are you gaming, sir?
Downed him.
Big Hoss, are you there?
I think he sounds like he's on a game.
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of funny, actually.
I know. I was like, ooh, is it Call of Duty? What's he playing?
You said duty.
Duty. Moist.
Rusty Fair, how are you tonight?
Can you hear me?
Can't hear you, Rusty.
Can't hear me?
Now we can, yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
We got you.
All right, awesome. I have to agree with you, Mr. Steve. Miss Erica could read me the instructions on how to change the oil in my truck, and I would enjoy it.
Yes. That is a given. That should be a high ticket item.
Yes, I think that will
I
do.
would change the oil in your truck if I could listen to Erica telling you how.
I would allow you to do it while I listen.
Okay, woo!
Hey now.
So
Spicy.
I hopped on here real quick because I've had a thought in my head for a very long time, and for the first time I heard it on, it was a different live. I can't remember exactly which one I was listening to, but they brought up a very interesting point that I thought about, and I wanted to just get you guys' opinion on it, and then y'all can throw me down or whatever and move on. I'll be quick. But what I worry about is there's a lot of talk about like what happens when, like, say Trump is gone, and like what's going to happen to the MAGA movement. And there's a lot of argument that like, well, it's not going anywhere. It's an idea, and it kind of infiltrated the Republican Party, and I feel that's true. What scares me to death is that somebody smarter than Trump sees what he's doing and is better at hiding it. And then that kind of becomes the new norm. And I was wondering what you guys thought about that. Somebody who just basically approaches that same idealism, but is just, I mean, he's so dumb. Like he puts it out blatantly. Whereas if they can kind of mask it and more like, I hate to say it this way, but like JD Vance, like you see him on stage, he's polished and I was just wondering what you guys thought about that.
That's what you're talking about. So keep in mind where the recommendation of JD Vance came from. JD Vance was recommended by the Heritage Foundation, the authors of Project 2025. So that is their plan. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I can read the tea leaves, right? So think about this scenario, if you will. If Trump were to win the election, if he were to win the election on November 5th, I think what you will see is pressure within the party to either use the 25th, which literally all it takes is a letter from members of the cabinet and the vice president to the Speaker of the House to say, we think this guy's unfit to serve, and then that's it. Then they vote on it and you're done. That's it. Or there's an impeachment process. Because I think there's a lot of Republicans in the party to say that if we want to do this fascism, if we want to do this Christian nationalist takeover of our country, Trump is too stupid for us to do that. So that's why JD Vance is their solution, because people forget JD Vance is much further right than Donald Trump. Much further right. Much further right. Trump is an extremist, but he's stupid. Right. He's a fascist, but he's stupid. JD Vance is also that, but he's not. He's smart. Exactly. That is their plan. That is their plan.
And what did I say to you, Steve, when we were talking about the show tonight? When we were talking, I said it's not really Trump that scares me at all, because he's just a guy who really likes a lot of attention and likes the power that his base and his people that are propping him up are giving him. But make no mistake, the people that are propping him up are not going to let go of their power, and so they will find another apprentice host, if you will.
Correct. That's exactly right.
This would be my point. So I'm in Florida, and by the way, just casted a vote for Harris, and 5 of my friends in Florida. Fingers crossed. But when I have conversations with people around me, I work construction. I talk to a lot of people, and I'm not shy. So I tell them what I think about it. They say, when I bring up basically what you guys just said, I was like, they're going to put him in because he's a useful idiot. They're going to kick him. And they're going to push Project 2025 using a smarter, better equipped person to push the message. And they call me a conspiracy theorist. They say, you're crazy. And I'm like, I don't think this is that crazy.
It's going to seem crazy to them because it's so far out of their frame that they can't believe it.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, everything. I would love to wake up one day where something is not unprecedented. I would just prefer. I'd prefer precedented.
Precedented. Just one.
Yeah, like I wouldn't mind. I mean, again, it's. Again, I'm not going to be a conspiracy theorist here. TikTok, educational purposes only.
Right.
We can talk about these targeted unalive attempts at the former president. People want to use the scapegoating of people on the left, and we certainly know the political affiliations and ideologies, but don't think there is not some. You talk about puppet masters, and you talk about the deep state, you talk about people pulling the strings. The Republican Party, Christian nationalists, the fascist movement, the Heritage Foundation, they do not want Trump as the president. They don't. They don't. They will take him if they can get him, because he's the which is part of why. Numbers. Which is, so again, follow my logic here, okay? I've been thinking about this ever since the news about Elon Musk and his Russia connections. It's related. This is all related because Elon Musk has the power of Starlink. And remember, the story goes that as a favor to Vladimir Putin, as a favor to Xi Jinping, he wants the Starlink disabled in Taiwan. And don't think that there aren't these, listen, we're all susceptible. Amy Dunn and I have talked about this. We're all susceptible to conspiracy theories, right? And I'm not up here saying that this is a conspiracy theory. I'm just asking us to think about this from a logic perspective. Why would Elon Musk, of all people, want to be handing over $1 million checks to potential voters, which is a complete violation of election interference laws and the whole 9 yards? Why would he be doing that if there wasn't a master plan?
And that should be the question you always ask.
Exactly. Elon Musk laughs at Trump. He laughs at him. He mocks him. They all do. They want somebody else in power, and the means to the end is okay. Let's do whatever we can to cheat, win the election. Well, if we have to do this, we have to do that. We'll do it. We've done it before. No big deal. People don't even give a shit. Our voters, they don't care. They don't care if we cheat. They just want to win. Cool. Now that Trump's won the election, and we'll get his ass out of here, and we can wipe the slate clean with brown people. We'll put the gays back in the closet. Fuck women. We don't give a shit about them. We've got a white-dominated male society. That's the future. That's what they want.
Well, let me bring this up though, and this is what kind of where I try to be careful around the group of people I'm around. Now, they say a bunch of crazy shit all the time, legitimately